Everybody, Picky O Gamer here. And I wanted to do this right. I did this last night. I tried to film why I love Phantasm after seeing Monster Madness on Cinemassacre, which they didn't really do a great job. Not saying they had to, they didn't. I didn't agree with them. They didn't like fawn all over the Phantasm series, but just the presentation was half-assed, and I think they could have done better. But Phantasm, if you don't know, is a a great movie series, a horror movie series, and my family knows how much I fucking love this series to the point where I've looked and looked and looked and finally got the second movie, which was released on Blu-ray. I gotta get the fifth one, and I know there's a box set coming out in actually December. It was delayed with a new collector's edition and everything. So let's get into what Phantasm is. A little history. Phantasm is five movies spanning from Phantasm in 1979, Phantasm 2 in 1988, Phantasm 3, The Lord of the Dead in 1994, Phantasm 4, The Oblivion in 1998, and Phantasm 5, Ravager in 2016. All of these were directed by Don Coscarelli. I think I'm saying that right. Except the last one was David Hartman with Don helping out on it. What makes Phantasm... What makes it so good? To me, the movies pull at the grief of loss and when we're on our lowest, when death comes into our lives. It sucks. I mean, it just really sucks when, you're sitting there and all of a sudden you hear you've lost somebody in your life, and it happens like this, and you have to go talk to a funeral home. It is horrible. The tall man plays on that and steals the corpses of the dead and the loved ones to make his army. First movie was a mind trip, and some can't watch it, such as my wife, who didn't completely finish it. I mean, it's supposed to be surreal, and it's ambiguous. It's to the point where, I'll get to this in a second, the second movie was made intentionally non-ambiguous because what happens in the first movie is kind of hard to figure out. It's still debated. They even poke at it and try to tell you something that happens with the main characters in like the third and fourth movie. It's just like, it's supposed to be a mind trip, and it's kind of hard for people to swallow. And the second movie, Universal Studios finally took over, and so Don had to either recast Reggie or Mike, and he ended up recasting Mike with a new guy, which only stayed around the one movie, James LaGrosse, and he was an okay guy. He's not bad. He did fairly well, but the movie, it was a very good action adventure movie, and it was non-ambiguous. It was actually a very good. It's probably heralded as probably one of the best outside the first one, simply because it was the one with the biggest budget. Universal took it over and went forward with it. But going back to it, the Universal had a tight grip on the movie, and they didn't want them to have any dream sequences, too ambiguous. So there's a point at the end of the movie where they say it's a dream, and the tall man goes, "No, it's not." And that's funny as hell. This movie took elements from Nightmare on Elm Street with the dream, where there's dreams and two characters communicating with a love romance between Mike and Liz, and it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Unfortunately, the original Mike character couldn't come back, but that was only temporarily. Is a good. The third, when it comes to the third movie, this is where Mike returns, as Universal really takes the reins off. It had a campy feel sometimes, part of it, where they had a crew that kept adding like a young boy, and then Rocky, a woman who was at military training. And it had that feeling, almost like, kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Warriors, a little bit. It was good. Good movie, and had great. It's great to have all the old cast back. Even Jodie comes back in the movie. Jodie comes back. So in this movie, we finally get to see Reggie, Mike, Jodie, all are back, and it's a really good movie. Then the fourth movie comes back to the original format. their dream sequences, the ambiguity is all back. It's weird. It's cool, and it's fucked up. This is where you get a lot of information, or some information about the tall man, but not too much. But then it leaves us with a very large cliffhanger. And it's taken then 18 years until Ravager comes out. Ravager is a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. It took a while and some reshoots to make, and it's not the best of the series, but it kind of wraps it up. And then unfortunately, Angus Scrimm passed away after this, so we're not going to get Angus Scrimm back for a movie ever again. It's not a bad movie, but the things about it is it's not a bad movie, but it's overly done. Where the first four didn't go overboard special effects, and the scale, the tall man, his army, his minions were enough to thrill us, enough to scare the shit out of us. Not go the way Ravager did. They did a lot of special effects, a lot of bouncing around, a lot of just. It was a fan film. Really, it felt really kind of cheesy in some cases. Other times, it felt really good. It kind of just had. It was, like I said, it was all over the place, kind of a mess. It's not a bad movie, but if they make another one without Angus, I'm probably will try to see it, but it's not going to be Phantasm. There's no Angus, no tall man, there's no Phantasm. I don't care what you say. So what is it about Phantasm that makes me love it so much? I mean, it's just that this whole series is just, it pulls at the darkest times in our life when we lose somebody, and the tall man is a mortician. He's odd, it's odd. The movies are odd. It's creepy. It hits us where it hurts. The loss of a loved one and the facing of death. And you see more in the fourth film. And he always takes his victims when their families are reeling at death. I mean, it's over and over and over. And there's times when I've lost somebody or dealt with other people losing stuff, and just sad. And sometimes I can't watch these movies. They're sad. They can be. They can pull your heartstrings. You think about people passing away, and it pulls at people to the point where you even see a character played by Kenneth Tiger, which you've seen him in Star Trek and other great shows. Fantastic actor, and he plays a priest, and he wrestles with this. He wrestles with this entire thing to the point. Unfortunately, he comes to a gruesome end, just like everybody else. The tall man, but he himself, even his character, was designed to struggle with the tall man and the destruction and pulling people, just pulling them out of their ability to grieve and to process the loss of their loved ones, and this terror and horror he puts them through. This is what makes him, to me, the most gritty, disturbing, horror movie person. Or I say horror movie villain of all time. To me, it goes Phantasm, Hellraiser, Halloween's, and then Freddy. Jason is after this. I like Jason. He's an icon, but he is kind of one-dimensional to me. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not bashing it. If you love Jason at all, I got family members who love it. Nothing wrong with Jason. He's a fucking icon. He's just not my favorite. So yeah, this is my take on the Phantasm movies. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic movie series. You haven't seen it, it's hard to get into. Again, my wife tried to watch the first one. It didn't kind of go over well with her. Not because she can't understand it. Oh, she can't understand it. It's because it's a mind trip. It's ambiguous. I can't even say that word. It's ambiguous. It's dream sequences. It fucks with your mind. It's supposed to fuck with your mind. People still talk to today, fans, and I'm gonna put this up here, fans. Us Phantasm fans are called fans, P-H-A-N. It's a pun on word, on spelling there, but we're still talking about what's going on in those movies. We just don't know. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I wanted to talk about Phantasm. I don't know if you can hear it through the mic, and my dogs out there barking a little bit. They're playing with the cats, and I don't know. I saw Cinemassacres, and it's not like a response to it, like that everyone watch it, but I think this movie could have done better. This movie series could have done better service. And what I just did, even with my research and doing all this this preparation. It's not the best. I'm not. Sometimes I like to talk from the chest, and to shoot from the chest, just talk off the top of my head. And to be honest, I hope I did the Phantasm series a great justice. It's a fantastic series. It's just great. Even the fifth one is not the best. It's a great horror series. If you don't have it, if you get into it like, oh, this is good. Look, this Christmas 2019, they're going to be putting out a new collector's edition. The old ones went for like $80-$90, and then poof, they're like $200-$300 if you still find them. This is going to have a replica of the ball, which is the ball is the iconic weapon and a destructive weapon that the tall man uses. Yeah, just take a look for that. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and happy Halloween. What is your favorite horror movies? What's your favorite horror villain? Is it Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy, Leatherface, whoever it is, Chucky? Let me know what you think. What do you think of Phantasm? I do appreciate everybody watching, and have a good happy Halloween. Big Kill Gamer.